There is a difference between misinformation and disinformation. Misinformation is when someone spreads fake news without knowing it's false. Disinformation is spreading it when you know better, fanning the flames. As the fires raged in Los Angeles, feeding on gale force winds that had a climate change feel to them, the state's governor met with the president, and both terms came up.
There were hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation lies. People want to divide this country, and we're going to have to address that as well.
Elon Musk's name was not raised in that exchange, but it could have been. The world's richest man has used his platform, X, to either mis- or disinform Americans about why the LA fires have been so bad, on the water shortages there, on the emergency response, all while giving short shrift to the major driver of this disaster, shifting climate patterns. Musk has been de-emphasizing the cause, going all in on the effect.
His claim that basically there wasn't enough water to fight the fires. This was actually shown in an actual discussion with a firefighter trying to combat the fires, who said, no, that's not the problem.
There was water. We have several reservoirs.
The problems are actually that the scale of the fires means that delivering water, no matter how much they have, is basically impossible.
There's just been a sundry number of claims on X that are just based on complete innuendo, exaggeration, or sometimes pure falsehood that Elon is amplifying across the platform just to score political points and win the day on the internet. And lots of people on social media mindlessly share it, and emergency officials in California are incredibly frustrated because lives are on the line here, and Elon Musk is making sport of it.
The other examples is him joining a chorus of people claiming that somehow DEI initiatives, diversity, equity and inclusion, was responsible for some kind of inadequate response to the fires.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
The DEI issue surfaced after the mayor of Los Angeles and the fire chief there started appearing on camera, briefing reporters. Elon Musk's fixation with diverse hiring practices has grown as he has shifted to the right politically in Donald Trump's direction. He has become an echo chamber for the anti-woke agenda that so many conservative voices have taken to and sprinkled around social media sites. Politically, they've long had California, a blue progressive state that has never voted for Trump, in their crosshairs. And in Governor Gavin Newsom, they see a potential Democratic presidential candidate in 2028. But most of the anti-woke types in America were born in the USA. Elon Musk was born and raised in apartheid-era South Africa. A white South African lecturing Americans on the perils of diversity, equity, and inclusion is a little rich.
This is part of a broader right-wing playbook that you see attacking DEI initiatives. The fact that the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, is a black woman.
Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
The head of the Los Angeles Fire Department is a gay woman. So there are continually these identity-based attempts to undermine people in charge rather than sort of focusing on fact-based information and broader, maybe more systemic challenges that may have contributed to the proliferation of the fire.
Musk has sort of long been this sort of memey, almost edgelordy type of person, you know, saying weird or otherwise borderline inappropriate things. But what we've seen is his increasing closeness with people of the far right who previously might have been banned from the platform, people who hold white nationalist or racist perspectives, pushing this particular narrative around demonizing diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives, even though that has nothing to do with this moment of the fires.
The sort of backlash against DEI is really interesting. I'm going to quote a line that seemed to emerge from the internet, which is, to the privileged, equality feels like repression. That if you're on the top of the pile, attempts to introduce greater equality do lower your comparative status within society. That's the kind of thing that threatens people like Musk, people like Trump. Yeah, DEI, there are instances where it's got problems, I'm sure, but actually the reason people are pushing back against it is because it threatens their privileged position.
Elon Musk is flexing his political muscle across the Atlantic, wading into British politics, backing the right-wing Reform Party while undermining its leader, Nigel Farage, who Musk says is just not up to the job. But Musk's main focus in Europe is not on London. It's on Berlin and the AfD, the Alternative for Germany party that is so far right that the country's judiciary and its domestic intelligence agency now classify it as a suspected extremist organization. Recent polling indicated the AfD was already Germany's second most popular party before Musk got involved.
And people really need to get behind the AfD, and otherwise things are going to get very, very much worse in Germany.
Interviewing its leader, posting that on the platform he owns and controls, where he can push the accounts of those he agrees with and suppress the ones of those he doesn't. The common denominator for Musk in Germany, the UK, and the US? Immigration.
AfD is an incredibly anti-immigrant party. They have come to power predominantly as a reactionary party to the German asylum system that welcomed people from the Middle East during the Syrian crisis in 2015. And that is part of Musk's through line on immigration, the idea of who's being allowed in, demographic replacement, and whether or not these people have a place in what he and others consider to be Western society. And in that way, there is a lot of ideological alignment between what Musk has been saying around the UK and the US and within the EU.
The AfD is, much like Trump's agenda, openly anti-immigrant, nationalist in some ways. Elon's attempt to sway the election and bolster AfD is also an attempt to make sure that Trump's agenda encounters as few barriers as possible. But beyond that, he actually wrote in an op-ed for a German newspaper that part of the reason that he was being so vocal is because his companies operate in Germany. So part of this is just naked self-interest.
One really ironic thing, though, about his support of the AfD, I was in Berlin covering all of the protests around his big Tesla plant in Brandenburg, right outside of Berlin, and the AfD was opposed to the construction of that site. It's a major, major facility for the production of Teslas, and Elon was fighting the AfD and criticizing them and saying they're this sort of like far-right neo-Nazi group. Look now, he's embracing them. So when it comes to ideological consistency, you're not going to find it in Elon Musk.
What you will find in Musk is that ideology comes a distant second to self-interest. When he tells his followers that you are the media now, he's not out to empower them or simply disempower legacy media outlets. He wants to empower himself, bolster his platform, and increase the disproportionate influence that one man already has on democracies, such as the one Donald Trump is about to take over in Washington.
When Musk says that people are losing trust in the media or somehow his users are the media now, he's the one driving that. He's choosing who to amplify. He's choosing what good or bad information means on his platform. A very small group of very wealthy people are benefiting immensely from the weakening of the media and what information people have access to or what is readily presented to them.
You also have in Trump someone who repeatedly derides and undermines trust in the media. Given the reach and scale of X, it's quite possible that information, whether it's true or not, that circulates on that platform can reach more people than journalists can.
Really hit hard these gusts, and that is the problem for all of these firefighters.
So I really hope that Elon is not correct and that everyday people on X, including people peddling disinformation, replace journalists. I think that that would be really scary for democracy.
Thank you for watching. Hit that like button and leave us a comment to let us know what you thought about anything we covered this week. And don't forget to follow us on social media. The links are in the description, and you can also subscribe to our newsletter for updates from the show.